Cloud. All right. Joy to the world. The Lord is come. The birthday of Jesus is the second most important holiday in the Christian calendar, and the only one that is purely joyful. As the anticipation of Christmas builds each week of Advent, the whole season provides ample excuses for merriment and celebration. Our American culture, driven strongly by Christianity, and Christian mythos, has built an entire holiday industrial complex to milk this holiday for everything it's worth. Sure, there's a lot of commercialism and cynical exploitation, but what Christmas is selling is the trappings of happiness. Light, music, bright colors, rich food, gatherings of family and friends, laughter, gifts, parties. The promise of joy to the world is the reason we all keep showing up for Christmas parties and Christmas decorations and Christmas carols, whether or not the Jesus thing resonates for us in any way. If you love Christmas, it's because at some point in your life, past, present, or both, something about it gave you joy. If you hate Christmas, either it's because it gave you joy in the past and has failed to live up to the promise in the present, or because in the ultimate act of unspeakable betrayal, it failed to give you joy despite all its lofty promises. For the Christmas haters, all I can offer is that Christmas is conferring some benefit to those around you, if not to you yourself. Contrary to a long-standing myth, global suicide rates in December are among the lowest of any month of the year, by a margin that has psychologists hypothesizing that there is a Christmas effect that at least temporarily buoys those who are struggling with depression or despair. And now that I've wandered down the path of facts and figures, let's get up into our heads for a minute. Unitarian's gonna Unitarian, so we're gonna pick apart the intellectual idea of joy. I promise I'm going somewhere with this. Psychologists describe two different kinds of happiness, with the technical terms hedonic and eudaimonic. Hedonic happiness is about gratification or pleasure, as you might expect if you're familiar with the term hedonism. Hedonic happiness tends to be fleeting. We experience it when we eat something with sugar in it, when we take a hot bath, or receive a wonderful gift on Christmas or a birthday. We feel amazing for a minute or an hour, but after that, it fades away until we receive some new or different input to recreate the feeling again. Eudaimonic happiness is defined as the happiness that comes from finding purpose and meaning. This feeling, logically, would be more durable and therefore more desirable than hedonic happiness. It's probably the kind of happiness the founding fathers meant when they referenced the inalienable right to its pursuit in the Declaration of Independence. Eudaimonic happiness is correlated with greater overall mental well-being, but anyone who tells you they are so deeply satisfied with their life purpose that they've entirely stopped caring about hot baths or sugar is probably lying. A newer field of study called positive psychology proposes that there's a third kind of happiness related to engagement, a feeling of commitment and participation in life. And this too seems sensible. If you had all the hedonistic treats you wanted, but no friends, or had found deep purpose and meaning in your life, but had no connection to other humans or the rest of the world, it would probably still feel like something was missing. Psychologists used to oversimplify all of this a bit, asserting that eudaimonic happiness is obviously superior to hedonic happiness, and the two aren't really related. In more recent times, a more nuanced view has emerged, acknowledging that all of these things are important, that they light up the same parts of the brain, and that they actually interact with each other, feeding back and forward to expand and deepen a happy person's happiness. Psychology is going to tend to use the words happiness and joy pretty interchangeably, choosing technical jargon like hedonia and eudaimonia to make distinctions. But most folks I know, if they have even a little bit of a spiritual bent, agree that happiness and joy are not the same. Happiness may be a component of joy, but it is not the whole of it. If we want to fully understand joy, all this intellectual stuff is of little use to us. We need to get down out of our heads and into our hearts. When we look outside ourselves in search of joy, as most of us have probably done at some time in our lives, we may find happiness if we're lucky, but joy will tend to remain elusive. Hedonic pleasures like sex, drugs, food, drink, hot stone massages, and really good chocolate are easy enough to obtain if that's what you want. Wealth, property, and prestige may also accrue to those who are either very determined or very lucky or both, and those things can seem to create happiness. People connect in relationships, get married, have kids, buy houses, work their way up career ladders, and those things can feel rewarding and meaningful or empty and discouraging, depending on how they play out. People who pay attention to their heart's desires beyond what they have settled into as normal or what they've been told they are supposed to want may have one or more moments of existential reinvention where they realize something isn't working, tear that thing down, and start over. For the most fortunate of wise humans, the revelation eventually comes that all that stuff on the outside is not the source of joy. There's an old story about this very thing, and it goes like this. In the beginning, the gods contemplated granting humans the secret of happiness and success. But after long deliberation, they concluded that if this gift were freely given, the humans would abuse it terribly. Thus, the gift must be hidden in a place where humans would never find it. The different gods suggested places to hide the secret: at the top of a mountain, the bottom of the ocean, the middle of the desert, or the North Pole. But the other gods dismissed these ideas. Humans are ingenious and determined, they knew. They would go to all of those places to search for the secret and would surely find it. In the end, one of the goddesses wisely said, "We should hide it deep inside the heart of each individual human. They will never think to look for it there." And so it is with joy. The fountain of joy is not like the fountain of youth. You don't have to travel to it, or navigate the jungle to uncover it, or dip a cup into it to get a drink. You just have to stop and notice that it's been bubbling up from the core of your soul from the moment you were born. The other qualities of Christmas that we lift up during Advent are the warm-up act to joy. We start by lighting a candle for faith. The light of faith reminds us that facts are not the only truth. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. It is what we have when we're not sure what we have. Faith invites us to be open to the possibility of joy, even when everything around us seems desperate or bleak. A week later, we light a candle for hope. The light of hope builds on our faith to show us a path forward in the darkness. Building on the confidence our faith instills, hope invites us to paint a picture of the future we desire, to imagine specifics and make plans. The next week, we light a candle for love. The light of love is the why of our faith and our hope, the connections to other people that create the context of our lives. Love invites us to be enfolded in the warmth of community, where joy can be not just discovered, but shared and multiplied. Joy is different from happiness. Happiness may sometimes look like memory or hope, something you had before and expect to have again. But joy does not exist in the past or the future. Joy only exists in this moment, right here, right now. When you stop looking for it outside yourself and simply show up for each moment of your life with curiosity and compassion, with faith, hope, and love, joy finds you. And so we come to the culmination of our waiting. The last Sunday of Advent is upon us. The eve of the birth of Christ is here. The oil lamp in the temple has miraculously burned for 8 days. The solstice is past, and the sun's light is returning to the world, and our anticipation swells to jubilation. In this moment, let us promise ourselves and each other that we are going to show up for it, that we are going to be where we are, in the place, with the people, in the moment that is happening right now. Whether you call it God, magic, or miracle, whatever you believe, whatever form it may take, Something can be born in you on Christmas. You can't force it, but you can allow it. And when it happens, the experience is transcendent. Joy like a fountain in our souls. May faith and hope and love be found, and joy be felt the whole world round. Merry Christmas and joy to the world.